In this demo, we're going to now post data. This is going to be done by modifying a view to add an input so we can receive text entry from the end user. We'll also need to add a button so that they can post that data to the server. And then we're going to see what we need to do inside of the controller in order to receive that data and return it, and then go back to the view so that we can echo it so the user can see it displayed. Returning to Visual Studio, in the homecontroller.cs file, in the About method, notice that there is a line of code here on line 20 that is referencing ViewBag. It's a special object that allows us to maintain some state that we want to potentially pass into the view while this page is being processed. In this example, we're saying, let's set the message property of that ViewBag to your application description page. I'm going to eliminate that and make it just an empty string. So the message really will display nothing. If I call about, it means return the view at line 22. So let's go ahead and go to that view. And that message would appear in this H3 tag. What I'm going to do is add a using statement with Razor syntax, at using, and specifically I want to use an HTML begin form. Inside the code blocks, I'm going to add an input to receive text from the end user that they could type. The name of this will be user data, and I'll end that input. I'm also going to add a button through the input type of submit. I'll give it a name of post action, and the value that will allow the user to see will be post ... and that here, and I'll put the H3 tag into this using statement. The message will therefore become a placeholder that we're going to want to echo the data back to. I need to go back to the controller, which I can do by right-clicking and say go to controller. The current about action is called when we first get to about page. However, I want to add a new one. The difference here is I'm going to add an attribute called HTTP post, which means call this about if we're being posted back to the server. And because we might be interested in some data that's being sent from the client, let's specifically ask for the user data. User data is the name we gave in our view to the text box. So now I can add in our code that the viewbag.message is going to equal whatever is in the user data or whatever the user typed into that text box. And now let's return the view. Let's view this in the browser. In the About page, we'll see that we could type some information into the text box, data, click Post, and now data appears just below.